Well, hello everybody. Good Saturday afternoon to all of you. If you're watching live and if you're watching later, good day, whatever day you happen to be watching it. This is the NBC Game of the Week, 1986 version. The rotation now shifts to Strat Super Advanced. We are at Three River Stadium, or as Robert likes to call it, the Stadium by the Three Rivers, for the San Francisco Giants against the Pittsburgh Pirates. A couple of lefties on the mound. And when you speak of lefties in baseball history, one of the ones that stands out the most is Steve Carlton. He'll be on the mound for the Giants, but of course, he's at the end of his career, so he's trying to hang on. And for the Pirates, it'll be left-hander Larry McWilliams. So, hello to Brian B. Forever Maine, Robert again, thank you for joining, and DJ John, thank you for joining as well. Hopefully, the glare is not too bad on the board. I did not use the plastic cover on the board like I usually do to try to cut out some of that glare, so hopefully that will help out. You see the starting lineups as I have them listed over here, along with the bench players that are available and the bullpen guys, and I got all these off Diamond Mine computer, so these are accurate for the rosters as of July 26th, which when this game was played, July 26, 1986. And I do have the score sheet right here with all the ratings filled out. Looking at the ballpark effects for Three River Stadium, singles are 1 to 6 for both lefties and righties. However, home runs slightly different. For lefties, it only goes to 5. For righties, it goes to 11. So right-handed hitters get a better home run chance. And against the two lefties, both managers, Roger Craig and Jim Leland, have loaded the lineups with right-handed swingers. So could see some fireworks. We shall see. Hello, Kenyon. How are you doing? Let's get our dice tray in here. I do have the Pittsburgh Pirate colored dice since the Pirates are the home team. We got the white and the gold or yellow, whichever you want to call it, and the black for the D20. And I think everything is looking okay. We'll see. Listening only. Okay, well, that's nothing wrong with that. Hey, Jim D., how are you doing? Hopefully the sound is coming through okay. I got to be careful because I used to wear the little mic on my lapel, so the mic followed me around, but now it's a stationary mic in front of me, and if I move my head to turn to look somewhere else, I will pull away from the mic a little bit, so the sound may drop a little bit lower in certain instances, and when that happens, it just means I look the other way by mistake, so I'll try to be cognizant of that. Let's see here. I'm up in the man cave again. Let's see. All right, so I've got the score sheet off to the side. Actual game was won by the Giants in a blowout, 9-0, 9-13-0 for the Giants, 0-4-0 for the Pirates. Pirates are looking to see if they can't reverse that a little bit. Now, as far as the division races go and the Strat PC that's simming all of this stuff, the Mets have pretty much wrapped up the East. They have a 14.5 game lead over second place Pittsburgh, so I doubt Pittsburgh has a chance to do much with that. The Giants, though, in the West have an interesting race going with the Houston Astros. It's pretty much a two-way race right now. Giants lead by 5 games. Of course, if the Pirates beat the Giants today, it'll drop to 4.5, as Houston has dropped 3 in a row in Philadelphia, so they're having some issues, and that's allowed the Giants to creep a few games ahead, but there's still a long way to go. You got all of August and September, so anything can happen, but it could be a good, interesting race in the National League West. So I do have my schedule set out for the rest of the season, but that could be subject to change based on the pennant race, and I may be showing some more Giants and Astro games down the stretch if it gets to that, where that's the only race that's going. In the East, the Angels have blown away everybody. They're the only team over 500, so that division's pretty much over. In the West. In the East, the Yankees have a lead, but it's only 5 games over Toronto and I believe 6 games over Detroit. So they don't have it blown away yet. Now Boston's way back, and so the conspiracists out there that think that Strat has a New York bias, there may be something to that, because Boston, every time I've seen Boston 1986 in the Strat replay, they always underperform. I don't know what it is, but it's just something about it that they always underperform. That's all I'm going to say about it. You can come to your own conclusions on that. All right, so I think we're about ready to go. Now my computer is off to my left, so I can see it, but So it looks like everything is copacetic as far as being able to see everything. I think I can actually move this down just a hair. I think it'd still be all right. Can't see the score sheet, but that's not really important because I'll have the base runners and you've got the out tokens here and the lineups and everything over there. So I think everything will be okay. So anyway, like I said, you can make your own judgment about whether there's a New York bias or not. Now the Mets winning their division handily, that's not anything unusual because they did that in real life, so I would expect that. But anyway, make your own conclusions on that. For the Pirates, loosening up on the mound to get his start is Larry McWilliams. Unfortunately, he was 3-11 with a 5.15 ERA in 15 starts, so not very good at all. And again, no DH. Pitchers will be hitting. Larry McWilliams will be using pitcher hitting card number 2. Now, Steve Carlton, although he had a rough year, is using pitcher hitting card number 7. So he's a very good hitter. He will be using pitcher hitting card number 7. So Larry McWilliams will take his spot on the mound. And Dan Mann from Gladden will be stepping up for the Giants. He'll be up to face Mr. McWilliams. I don't have the game up on the Strat computer because it's kind of takes away a little bit of the rhythm, I think. So I don't really have all their stats and everything up. Not that it's relevant because, like I said, it's not really a 1986 replay. It's just I'm using that as a backdrop for the game of the week. That's all I'm really doing with that. I'm just doing the Strat sim just to have something to do, basically. But just like I did for 1982, I will go ahead and do a playoffs based on what the Strat computer says. Now, the games I do play on the game of the week, I do enter them manually in the computer, so they are taken into account. But all the other games, of course, are being simmed, and Strat computer will do what the Strat computer wants to do. All right, everybody. Do my puns come naturally? Do I think ahead? If I try to think ahead of puns, they won't happen. It's just something weird in my brain that I hear a word and it triggers something else. Yeah, and it has to be spontaneous. I can't sit down and write material like that. It has to be something off the cuff, and that's why a lot of times they're rather silly because just something comes in my brain, and of course it drives Robert crazy. All right, so and Brian, speaking of Robinson, I looked at the Strat computer for the game previous to this one. And ironically, the Giants beat the Pirates. It was Jeff Robinson, the winner, and Don Robinson of the Pirates was the loser. So I thought it was interesting that the decision went to both Robinsons. So kind of a little bit interesting there. Yes, the block dragon sometimes on Robert's streams have to come out. So, all right, so super advanced we go. Now, I'm not doing everything super advanced. I'm not going to worry about robbing home runs or blocking the plate or any of that kind of stuff, but I will be doing super advanced fielding, super advanced stealing, clutch, and ballpark effects. Those are the main things. All right, so speaking of stealing, Dan Gladden, he likes to steal if he can get on base, but he's got to get on base first, and he's going to be facing Larry McWilliams in the NBC Game of the Week, played July 26, 1986 from Three River Stadium. It's now underway. 6-7 off McWilliams' card against a righty. 6-7. Oh, that's trouble for McWilliams right off the bat. He's got a bad case of doubles and singles here in 6 and 7. So 1 to 13 is going to be a double. That's a 20. It will be a single for Dan Gladden, but that also means that Dan Gladden is set up to try to steal or at least get a jump. To get a jump in Super Advanced, you go by these numbers right here, 2 through 6. So if we roll 2d6s and we get a 2 through 6, he can get the jump. Now, if he gets the jump, he has to steal. We also roll a d20 because if it comes up with a 1 or a 2, then there's a chance of a pickoff or something like that. So we'll roll and see if we get a 2 through 6. We get a 7, so he cannot get the jump. He can still try to steal, but it would be much less. You'd be going with a secondary number, and then -4 for being held would make him a 10. And then you're dealing with Tony Pena behind the plate, who's got a good arm. So, actually, no, Tony Pena behind the plate has a good arm, so he's got a -3 arm, so not a good idea to try to do anything like that if you were the Giants. So Dan Gladden will just take his single and like it, and we'll go on to Robbie Thompson. Thompson is an A bunter, but I think the Giants are thinking of a bigger fish They're thinking they're going to get more runs, so they're not going to play for 1 run. They're going to play for multiple runs. Hello, Larry Harris. How you doing? Happy Saturday to you. In Super Advanced, you roll the D20 to make sure you don't get a 1 or a 2. Now, in inside pitch, we got a 20. If that was inside pitch, then we'd be checking for pickoffs and balks and things like that. But in Strat, you're looking for 1 or 2. We didn't get it. So we move on. Robbie Thompson. Get a 4-6. So again, we're off McWilliams' card against a right-hander, and a 4-6 is a walk. So Larry McWilliams would probably fare better if the results were coming off the batter cards, but they're forced to come off his own pitcher card, which right now is not doing him any favors. We got first and second with nobody out, and it could be a long day for the Pirates and Jim Leland. He's only got 5 guys in the bullpen, so probably will use all of them before it's all over and said and done with. Joel Youngblood will be playing left field in this game. Will Clark is getting the day off against the lefties, so Will Clark will not be in the game. He's on the bench, but he won't be starting. They actually have Bob Brenly playing first base and Bob Melvin catching. So Youngblood steps to the plate. Nothing on the Havoc. Here is Youngblood. 2-9. We finally off the batter card. 2-9, but it may not be any good. 1-11 is going to be a single. It's going to load the bases. 12-20. He lines at the third. And that's a single, and that will load the bases. It's only 1 star, so even Dan Gladden with his speed cannot score, but there's a giant on every base. And the thing about not having that covering on the stadium is these things kind of stick, but we'll see what we can do with it. So Joe Youngblood with a single to load the bases with nobody out. And serious trouble now for Mr. McWilliams, as this could be a highly numeric curly number in the scoreboard column. Robert, it's not just a possibility, it's already a fact. So I've already decided that. In fact, Strat has dropped to number 3. Payoff pitch is number 2. And Strat is number 3. Not that I don't like Strat, it's just like the other games better. That's all. And I like the fact that the other games have just, I don't know, just something about it. Now, Strat will always be nice because I grew up on Strat, but hey, you got to progress sometimes. All right, here's the strategy roll. Nothing happening. Here's Chris Brown. Bases loaded. Infield's going to play for double play depth. They need outs in the worst way, so they're playing back for the double play. They'll give up a run to get 2 outs. 6-6, and that's a strikeout. So McWilliams gets a huge strikeout. Boy, 6-7 would have been trouble, but 6-6 is a strikeout. And Chris Brown is out on strikes. So it's a huge out. Now here comes Candy Maldonado, another tough right-hander. Strategy roll, nothing happening. Double play will get him out of the inning, and he can come away unscathed. 3-8 struck him out. So back-to-back strikeouts by McWilliams. He is saying, wait a minute, don't call the bullpen just yet. 2 strikeouts in a row, and now Bob Brenly, who's playing first base today in place of Will Clark, is up to the plate. Nothing happening. We get a 3-11. Oh, that's trouble right here. Ballpark effect home run for Bob Brenly. And it's a 1-11. So a 1-11, and Bob Brenly will hit a grand slam home run that will give the Giants a 4-0 lead. 12 or higher. It's just a deep fly ball to left that will be hauled in by Billy Allman. That's a 4. It is gone, as RJL would say, kaboom. That ball is long. It is gone. Bob Brenly, a grand salami. Put a little mustard on that salami. It is gone. And McWilliams was playing with fire, and he got burned. Bob Brenly, a ballpark home run, grand salami. 4-0 Giants here in the top of the first. And as RJL would say, stadium groans. So 4-0, and now here's Bob Melvin. The base is cleared. 1-9, ground ball to first, and that's going to end the inning to C, so I like to do a 3-1 ground out. I'll say that first baseman Diaz flips to the pitcher, McWilliams covering, who's still in shock, I think, from the grand slam, but a big 4 spot for the G-men. And at the end of half an inning of play, it's San Francisco 4, and the Pirates coming to bat. And boy, the guy liking that most of all is Steve Carlton. Carlton started the season with the Phillies, then went to the Giants. Total for the combined for the two teams, he was 5-11 with a 5.89 ERA, so obviously not very good, but he's got a 4-0 lead to work with. And the first batter up for the Pirates will be the left fielder, Billy Allman. As you can see, they've got Orslag, Bream, and Bonds. All these lefties are on the bench against the lefty Carlton. So one good thing that Leland has, he does have a strong bench. If the Giants get to the right-handed relief pitching, they got some lefties to bring in to pinch hit. But right now, here's Billy Allman. So 1-4. It's ground ball to second. Robbie Thompson. Johnny on the spot, one away. And that will bring up the catcher, Tony Pena. Kind of unusual. He's hitting second today, but that's what Leland has him. 5-7, and that is a strikeout. So Steve Carlton starting out very well for himself here in the beginning of the ball game. That 4-0 lead probably had something to do with it. And that brings up Johnny Ray, second baseman. 110, and that's a pop to short. And boy, it's a 1-2-3 quick inning. And not exactly what Larry McWilliams needed. I mean, he was looking to get some rest in the bench, but he's got to get back out there right away now as Carlton shut him down 1-2-3. And at the end of one, it's San Francisco 4 and the Pirates nothing. And that'll bring up the number 8 hitter for the for the Giants rather, Jose Uribe, shortstop. It's a 4-7 against the switch hitter batting right-handed. 4-7 is a 1-9 single. Anything else, he grounds to third. That's a 17, so it will be a ground ball to third, and Morrison puts it away. And that'll bring up Steve Carlton using pitcher hitting card number 7. So no slouch at the plate at all. But we're off McWilliams. 4-7 against the lefty. He's going to walk, so he walks the opposing pitcher, Steve Carlton. Not a good sign when you walk the pitcher. That's not what you want to be doing. So Steve Carlton is on first base, obviously not being held on. And we're back to the top of the order for Dan Gladden. Singled and scored his first trip. Havoc roll. 2, chance of a balk or a pass ball. It's a 4, so a chance of a pass ball. And the pass ball rating on Tony Pena is 0. So he has no chance of a pass ball, so we move on. Forget that. Drive on. 1-6. That's another walk. So back-to-back walks by Larry McWilliams. He's just definitely not helping himself, giving up free base runners. So Carlton now is at second, and Gladden's at first. Nobody out. I'm sorry, 1 out. Double play still gets him out of the jam, but he's got to get Robbie Thompson to hit into a double play. Nothing on the Havoc. 2-12 against the lefty is a hit by pitch plus injury. I'm not doing injuries. And you know what? I will do injury. I'll do single game injuries. Why not? Make it more fun. So injury check. And let's go to the injury chart. Super advanced injury chart right here. So he's got to get a 1 or 2 to stay in the game. Anything else higher than that, he's going to have to leave. So he will have to leave. Robbie Thompson is injured, being hit by the pitch. So we'll need a new second baseman, a pinch runner, and a new second baseman. And the pinch runner, let's look at the bench for the Giants. They don't have a whole lot of infielders. Most of their backups are outfielders. So it looks like the only guy they have available, well, they could use Kutcher, Randy Kutcher. That's who they're going to use, Randy Kutcher. He's utility, he can play everywhere. He's got a card that kind of does outfield and infield. But he is rated at second base as a 4 and a 30, so not very good, but you're up 4-0, it may not matter. So Randy Kutcher is the new second baseman. And since Thompson was hit by the pitch, that's going to load the bases again. So Again, second time bases have been loaded in the game. And that's going to bring up Joel Youngblood. So let's get Youngblood ready to go. Kutcher will be the new pinch runner at first base in place of the injured Thompson. Only one out. Infield looking for two. Nothing happening. Here's Youngblood. 3-6 for Youngblood, struck him out. So big strikeout there for McWilliams. That is out number 2. And it's up to Chris Brown. If the Giants want to extend the lead. 1-3, and he's hit by the pitch. Back-to-back hit by, that's the second batter that McWilliams has hit, and Roger Craig is not happy about it. It's actually going to force in a run. So Carlton will come in to score. Gladden will walk to third. Kutcher goes to second. Candy Maldonado, taking one for the team, gets an RBI for his trouble. And it is 5-0 Giants. And the bullpen for the Pirates is now loosening. I'm sorry, that was Chris Brown, not Maldonado. My bad. Maldonado's coming up now. Chris Brown took one for the team. You never know. Maldonado might take one for the team too, but Chris Brown was the one who took one for the team. It is 5-0. Nothing there. 6-5. Ground ball, shortstop X. First fielding check of the day. Rafael Belliard, shortstop, is a 3-E-25. 3 and a 4. That's trouble. 3 and a 4 is an SI1, so it's going to be a base hit with 1 star, a 7, and he is an E25. There is no 7, but it is a single 1 star. Gladden will score. The inning continues. It is now 6-0. McWilliams is now officially tired, so he will have to either come out of the game or pitch with his little tired, using those little dots. So I think that's going to be it for McWilliams. I just don't see how I can go any further with him. So McWilliams is going to leave. And Candy Maldonado with the base hit. And it is now 6-0. So McWilliams will be lifted. He didn't make it very far. And he's going to tax that bullpen for sure. Let's see who the Pirates want to go to. Nope, I don't think any Pirate pitcher really is dying to get out there in a 6-0 game. Let's see who's got the most length. They are going to go to Barry Jones. Barry Jones will be the new pitcher. And on the season, he was 3-4 with a 2.69 ERA and 3 saves. So his job is to, 1, get out of the inning and at least pitch the third as well. So bases loaded, 2 down, 2 are in. Brenly, the batter. 4-7, and that's a walk. It's going to force in a run. So Brown will come in to score. Maldonado goes to second. And Bob Brenly, who hit that grand slam, he now has 5 runs batted in already in the game. And we're just in the second inning. Go figure. And maybe, perhaps, Mr. Jones was not the answer. So Bob Brenly takes his spot at first base with an RBI. RBI walk. Hey Brad, how you doing? Unfortunately, it's not a close game. It is now 7-0. Bases are still loaded with 2 outs. And Bob Melvin, the catcher. Nothing happening. 2-6 against the righty from Melvin. 1 is a double. Anything else, he flies to right. And that's going to finally end the inning mercifully. But a 3 spot for the Giants to go with the 4 spot they had in the first. It is now 7-0. And the Pirates some of their players haven't even come to bat yet. And most of the Giant players have hit twice. It's just the way it is. All right, so Steve Carlton now. If he can't get a win with a 7-0 lead after 2 innings, I don't know what to tell you. All he's got to do basically is go 5 innings to get the win. So Mike Diaz will be the leadoff hitter for the Pirates. He is at first base, subbing for the left-handed Sid Breen. .48, and that's a 1-9 single. Anything else, he lines it to Thompson at second. And he's going to line to Thompson at second. It's just one of those days for the Pirates where the D20 just isn't cooperating. And really, pretty much nothing else is cooperating. So Diaz is out, and that brings up Jim Morrison. People are strange. 1-4, and he's going to ground to short. Easy play for Uribe. 2 up and 2 down. So Steve Carlton has retired all 5 he has faced. That'll bring up the right fielder, R.J. Reynolds. 6-5 against the right-hander. That's going to be the first base runner and hit of the game for the Pirates. R.J. Reynolds has weak power against lefties, so the 1-17 home run will only be a single, will not be a home run. And that's what it is. So had he had better power, that would have been a home run, but in the super advanced and the advanced for that matter, weak against lefties, so cannot get the home run. But the Pirates finally get their first base runner of the game. All right, that brings up Mr. Millionaire. 1 million Bobby Bonilla Day was just recently, a couple weeks ago. He is in center field in this game. He's a 4 rated center fielder, so that tells you how desperate the Pirates are right now. 3-7 against the lefty. Well, Bonilla's going to get a hit. 1's a double. Anything else will be a single, 2 stars. So it is a single, 2 stars, and Reynolds will take third base. And Bobby Bowe comes up with a single. Puts runners on the corners for light-hitting Rafael Belliard, though. So the chances of Belliard doing something are not very good. Better get something off Carlton's card. And they do, 6-10. But it's a ground ball third base X, so that means Chris Brown, and Chris Brown is a 3-E28. 3-8 should be okay. 3-8 is a G3. That's good enough. There's a 7, and he is an E28. And there is no 7, so it's good play by Chris Brown, and that's going to end the inning. We'll just say he goes to first for the out, just to make it simple. Doesn't really matter at this point. Belliard is retired, and so are the Pirates. They leave 2 on. At the end of 2, it's 7-0 Giants. They got a touchdown on the Pirates. So the Giants are leading the Steelers 7-0 apparently. That's the way it's working right now. And unfortunately, I'm not very entertaining outside of, well, maybe not entertaining at all, but definitely not outside of baseball. So don't really have a whole lot for anybody that's looking for blowout entertainment, except to see how many runs the Giants can score. All right, top of the third. Barry Jones still in there, of course, and he's going to be facing Jose Uribe, Steve Carlton, and Dan Gladden. It's a 6-7 for Barry Jones against the switch hitter. Ground ball second base, that's Johnny Ray. Johnny Ray is a 3-E6. 3-18 is good. E6 and a 14. Let's see if that's okay. E6 and a 14 is good. 16 and 18 would have been bad, but not a 14. So play was made by Johnny Ray. 1 up and 1 down. First time the leadoff batter has been retired. And actually, Melvin and Uribe have gone 0 for 2, unlike their counterparts. There's Carlton, 1-5, and he's going to strike out. So Carlton's out on strikes, 2 down. So it could be a 1-2-3 inning. How do you like that? Dan Gladden back up. He's singled and walked. It's a 3-7, and all these hits in column 3, and he found the fly ball to center. And Barry Jones pitches a 1-2-3 inning. Very unusual. And that's going to be it for Barry Jones. He's set to lead off next inning, so he did what they asked him to do. And now it's just a matter of Can the Pirates score any runs? We go to the bottom of the third. It is still 7-0 Giants. And we need a pinch hitter for the Pirates, and it will be Mike Brown. Mike Brown, one of the few righties they have left on the bench, along with their backup catcher Junior Ortiz or switch hitter UL Washington. So they're going Mike Brown to pinch hit for Barry Jones, and then they will go to the bullpen and probably go to Cecilio Guante, most likely. Right now, here's Carlton, 5-7, and that's a strikeout. So Brown is retired. And that'll bring up top of the order and Billy Allman. And Allman not having much joy in this game with it being 7-0. Maybe sometimes he feels like a nut. All right, 2-6 for Allman against the lefty. Struck him out. So that time, Steve Carlton on the mounds strikes out Mr. Allman Joy. So 2 down, and that's going to send up Tony Pena. 2-8, and that's a ground ball right back to Carlton. Boy, Carlton's looking like his old self here. 1-2-3 inning. He's pitched 3 shutout frames. Of course, it is against the Pirates, so you have to take that with a grain of salt. It is 7-0 after 3 complete. Now, the real game was 9-0, so I think at this point the Pirates are hoping they keep it at 9-0 and not let it get worse than that. And now they're going to their bullpen, and they're going to bring in the right-hander. And the right-hander is Cecilio Guante. Guante, 5-2, 3.35 ERA and 4 saves. So he is on. See what he can do here in the top of the 4th. He will be facing Kutcher, because remember Thompson got hurt, so we're going to have Kutcher, Youngblood, and Brown. A lot of lefties on the bench for the Giants, but when you're up 7-0, why bother with your bench? One 8 for Kutcher, and 1-6 is going to be a single. Anything else, he lines to second. And he lines it right to Johnny Ray for out number 1. And that'll bring up Joel Youngblood. 5-7, that's a ground ball second base X. Johnny Ray will get another chance. Again, he has a 3 E6. 3 and a 19 is good. E6 and a 10 is good. So good play for Johnny Ray. 2 up and 2 down, and that brings up Chris Brown. 1-7 for Brown. He's going to draw a 2-out walk. Not what the Pirates really needed there, with some more walks and base runners, but that's what they got. So Chris Brown, the 2-out walk, and that'll bring up Candy Maldonado. He is struck out and singled. Nothing there. 1-6, and that's a ground ball to third. That's going to end the inning, as Morrison will go the short way to Johnny Ray to end the inning. So the Pirates keep the Giants at bay in the top of the 4th. Keeps the score 7-0. And back out is Mr. Carlton. He just wants to go 5 innings for sure to get the win. That's what he has to do. That's the threshold he has to make. So leading off for the Pirates will be Johnny Ray. Popped to short his first time up. 6-4 against Carlton is a catcher X. Catcher in this case is Melvin. He's a 3-E1. 3-19. 3-19 for a catcher is a G2. So, and an E1. You're not going to have an error on the E1 unless you have a 17. That's only a 12. So it's going to be a 2-3 ground out. A little dribbler in front of the plate, and easy play for Bob Melvin. 1 away. Here's Mike Diaz. 4-6, and that's a ground ball second base X. So we're looking at Robbie Thompson. Thompson is a 2-E20. 2 and 11 is good. E20 and a 14 for a second baseman. E20 and a 14. 13 is an error, but not a 14. So good play for Robbie Thompson. 2 down. And in case you're curious, I got a little bit behind on my Buffalo Bees History Maker games, and all the other games for the other teams. So next Friday, this coming Friday, they will definitely be back online and playing the Milwaukee Barrelmen. And as they go back on the road to take on the Milwaukee Barrelmen for a quick 2-game set. And then after that, they go from there, head east up to Boston to take on Mr. Steve Towers' Boston or New England Minutemen in a rematch. So that ought to be interesting in itself. All right, so Morrison is retired. I'm sorry, Diaz is retired. Picked up Morrison's card by mistake. It's actually Morrison at the plate. 6-11. That's a ballpark home run chance right here. Ballpark diamond shot. It's a 1-11. Jim Morrison does have normal power, so a 1-11, and the Pirates get on the board. Come on, come on, come on, come on and touch me, babe. That's a home run for Jim Morrison. Puts the Pirates on the board, cuts the lead to 7-1. How do you like that? Shutout is gone. Super advanced ballpark effects did it. Here's R.J. Reynolds. 2-2, and that's a ground ball to third to end the inning. But the Giants give up the shutout. Pirates are on the board. We go to the fifth. It's 7-1 in favor of the Giants. But the Buccos have done something they didn't do in the real game, and that was score a run. All right, Bob Brenly, first baseman. And we're not going to use any of the bench players unless they need to pinch hit or if the score gets closer. Any other time, we're just going to keep with the starters. So Brenly has hit the grand slam home run and walked. Pretty much a perfect day. 5-5. Not this time. He strikes out. So Guante gets him on the strikeout. So the bullpen for the Pirates, in all honesty, has done very well. It just was the starter McWilliams that was the problem. Melvin, 6-6. That's another strikeout. Guante dealing. 2 down for Uribe. 5-3. Switch hitter batting left. That's a fly ball right field X. That is R.J. Reynolds, and he is a 3 E15. High error rating. 3 and a 12 is good, but the E15 and the 7 can be trouble. E15 and a 7. E15 and a 7. And unbelievably, there's no error. There's a 6 there, but there's no 7. So R.J. Reynolds survives that play and makes the catch to end the inning. I'm sorry, I was just out. No, that was the end of the inning, wasn't it? Sure was. That's how quickly it went. 2 strikeouts and a fly to right ends the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. And this is the last inning Carlton has to survive to qualify for the win. And 5 is his fatigue number, so we'll keep an eye on his fatigue factor. Going to be facing Mr. Millionaire Bobby Bowe. And then Belliard, then a pinch hitter for Guante. And the pinch hitter for Guante looks to be UL Washington. He is the only other non-lefty in there other than the backup catcher Ortiz, and I don't think you want to use him. So, looks like UL Washington is your guy. Well, I don't know. They may decide to. It depends on base running situations. We'll see. We'll hold off on that until we know for sure. So Bobby Bowe leads things off. 3-5, and that's a 1-12 single. And it's a 19 though, so it's going to be a liner right to the third baseman, and that is hauled in out there by Chris Brown. One away, brings up Belliard. If it's 2 outs, bases empty, they'll just go with Washington. 4-5, and that's a fly ball center field X for the Giants. Center fielder, in this case, is Dan Mann from Gladden. He is a 3 E6. 3 and a 15 is good. E6 and a 7 should be okay. E6 and a 7 is good. So that's going to be 2 quick outs. And now UL Washington will do the pinch hitting for the Pirates. Mr. UL Washington was a 200 hitter in 1986. Hit 135 at bats. So UL Washington will do the pinch hitting. And Carlton needs one more out to qualify for that win. 210, and he gets it. No, maybe not. It's a ballpark single check. Ballpark single is a 1-6. And that is a 6 right on the number. So UL Washington will actually get a ballpark single out of that. How about that? Mr. UL Washington with a ballpark single. Keeps the inning going for the Pirates. And I don't have I thought I had a little runner for him, but I don't see one. Maybe I didn't make one for him for some reason. So we'll just put somebody there to let you know somebody is there. And now we go to the top of the order and Billy Allman. So with 2 outs, Billy Allman is up. Carlton looking for that elusive 3rd out. 1-4, and he gets it this time with the ground ball to second to end the inning. Steve Carlton survives 5 innings. And that's going to do it for Carlton. He's scheduled to lead off next inning, so he will do it. He will pitch the 5, and that'll be it. But he certainly qualifies for the victory. So Carlton's day is done. And we'll get a pinch hitter, and we'll also get a new pitcher for the Pirates as well, and it will be Jim Wynn. Jimmy Wynn, another right-hander, will be coming on for the Buccos. Jim Wynn, on 1986 season, was 3-5, 3.58 ERA. Did start 3 games and had 3 saves, so he's definitely got some long relief value to him, which is good because they're a long way before the pitcher comes up to bat again. So they're hoping to get at least 2 innings out of him, if not 3, depending on how they do. Pinch hitting time for the Giants. Who do they want to go to? They're going to go to, well, they got still a 7-1 lead, so they might as well use a schlub. And they're going to go with pinch hitter extraordinaire, Harry Spillman. Only had 94 at bats, but he did hit 287 with 2 home runs. So lefty Harry Spillman will be coming on. And all this is pretty much academic here because the decision of the game is pretty much over. We're just playing it out. Spillman, 5-6, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Harry Spillman is retired. 1 away. Back to the top of the order for Dan Gladden. Pirate bullpen has been doing very well for themselves. They just found themselves in a 7-0 hole and couldn't get out of it. Gladden, 5-8. That's another strikeout. 2 outs. Here's Randy Kutcher. Came in for the injured Thompson, 6-9, and that's an in-home run chance, 1 or a 2. He does have normal power, so 1 or 2, we got a home run. Anything else, he flies to left. And he flies deep to left field, hauled in out there by Allman, and the inning is over. So another 1-2-3 inning turned in by the Pirate bullpen. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. It is 7-1 still in this case. And now we need a new pitcher for the Giants. Coming up for the Pirates, it'll be Pena, Ray, and Diaz. So coming in for the Giants to pitch. Let's see who they might want to go to. They're going to go to, well, first we got to move Jim Wynn out of the way, don't we? Wynn can come back again for next inning, obviously. Juan Berenguer will be the new pitcher. Juan Berenguer, 2-3, 2.70 ERA. Did have 4 starts, also 4 saves. So, remember, this is 1986, not 2022. So, pitchers did both back then, and were pretty good at it. So, Juan Berenguer is in, and he'll be facing Tony Pena. 6-4, and that's a 1 for an in-home run chance. Anything else, he will fly to left. And he's going to fly to left, 1 down, hauled in out there by Youngblood. Pena is retired. That will send up Johnny Ray. 5-7, switch hitter batting left. That's the bad spot for Berenguer. That's going to be a base hit. 1-16 is a double, in fact. And Johnny Ray hits himself a double. So 1-out double off the bat of Johnny Ray. He is aboard and in scoring position with 1 out for Mike Diaz. Five, 8, and that's a ground ball, second base X. That will at least get Ray to third at a minimum. Second baseman is Thompson. I'm sorry, it's Kutcher now. Don't forget, it's Kutcher. He's 4E30. This might get through. 4 and a 6 is going to definitely be a base hit, you would think. 4 and a 6 is an SI1, so that means Ray only goes to third. There's an 8, and he is an E30. There is no 8, so just a single, 1 star, so to speak. Puts runners on the corners with 1 out. And don't look now, but 1 swing of the bat, and the Pirates are back in this ball game. Jim Morrison, the batter, and he does have power. So Berenguer has to be careful. 2-7, pops it up to short. Boy, that was a bad one. Made the second out with no runner advancement. And it's going to bring up R.J. Reynolds. So Reynolds is up. Nothing on the D20. Here's Reynolds. 6'9", switch hitter. He's going to walk, and that's going to load the bases for Mr. Bobby Bonilla, of all people. So Bobby Bo coming up with the bases loaded in a 7-1 game. So 1 swing of the bat, it becomes 7-5 really quick. So Berenguer has to really be careful. Bonilla definitely has, well, actually, he's got weak power. In 1986, he didn't hit many home runs, so they're showing him with weak power. 5-6. In fact, he's going to strike out. That's how weak he is. So Bonilla strikes out with the bases loaded. And the Pirates miss a golden opportunity to cut into that lead, and they walk away empty-handed with nothing to show for it. And we go to the top of the 7th. Still a 7-1 ball game. Boy, the Pirates really missing an opportunity right there. So Jimmy Wynn come back out and will face Youngblood, Brown, and Maldonado here in the top of the 7th. So that'll bring up, we don't have Morgana, but we got somebody else, so we will move on. Joe Youngblood, the batter. 3-10, and Youngblood grounds to third, 1 away. 1 down for Chris Brown. That's a 2-7, and that's a fly to center. So 2 up and 2 down for Candy Maldonado. 2-10, and that's a ground ball to short. That's going to end the inning. So 1-2-3 inning turned in by Jim Wynn. He is going to be done for the day because he's scheduled to come up to bat, so they'll pinch hit for him. But he did his job, and so has the Pirates bullpen. Pirates bullpen has pitched 5 shutout innings of relief. Can't ask for anything more than that. And we get ready to go to the bottom of the 7th. It is 7-1 still the score, but it looked like it's going to be a whole lot worse than that, in all honesty. So 7th inning stretch, you know what that means. And I'm going to stand up and stretch myself. Everyone is welcome to sing along to take me out to the ball game. All right, 7th inning stretch is complete. Berenguer coming back out for the Pirates. They use UL Washington, so they're going to have to keep Belliard in there. He's the only shortstop they have on the bench. Now, with the right-hander in there, big bats are coming up for the Pirates to pinch hit. And we are going to see, for the Pirates, we're going to see this guy. He's going to be he's at the on-deck circle ready to pinch hit, Mr. Barry Bonds. So it'll be Belliard and then Bonds, and then the top of the order. So Belliard, the leadoff man, 6'9", and that's a leadoff walk. So that's what they needed from Belliard, was to get him on base, and he did. So Rafael Belliard gets on base, the leadoff man, and that's going to bring up Mr. Barry Bonds. Bonds stepping to the plate against Berenguer. Nothing happening on the Havoc. 3-4, and that's a fly to center. So Barry Bonds is retired on the fly out to center field. 1 down. So much to do about nothing on that one. And that'll bring up the top of the order and Billy Allman, the left fielder. But he's going to be called back. And the slack man, Joe Orsulak, will pick up a bat and hit for the Pirates. Pinch hitter Joe Orsulak. That leaves Bream and Ortiz on the bench. Nothing on the Havoc, and that's the only bad thing about this is no matter what the score is, you still roll the Havoc roll where it's on inside pitch. When the score gets out of hand, you don't do the strategy rolls anymore. 4-6, and he's going to strike out. So Orsulak out on strikes. 2 down. That'll bring up Tony Pena. So the leadoff walk to Belliard looked promising, but Pirates letting that go to waste, it appears. 1-8, and that's a ground ball right back to Berenguer to end the inning. That's going to be it for Berenguer. He's going to go 2 innings. And that's all they can really ask of him. So it will be Don Robinson coming in for the Pirates. He took the loss in yesterday's game, but he's coming in for more punishment. And Bob Brenly is scheduled here, but he is going to be called back. And Will the Thrill Clark will pinch hit. And stay in the game to play first base, as he's a much better first baseman. So Will Clark will come on and pinch hit and take the place of Brenly. And for the Pirates, of course, we got to get out Mr. Robinson. Mr. Don Robinson on the replay, or the 86 season rather, 3-4, 3.38 ERA and 14 saves. So he's in there to face Clark, Melvin, and Uribe. On top of the 8th, 7-1 Giants. 3-7, and he's going to ground to second. So uneventful at bat there for Mr. Clark. 1 down for Bob Melvin. 2-4. 2-4 is a 1-10 home run. So this could go deep on a 1-10. Otherwise, it's a triple for Melvin. That is a 15. Is a triple for Bob Melvin. He had 2 triples on the season and gets one of them right there. It's on his own card. So a triple for Bob Melvin. That thing must have bounced around the AstroTurf all over the place. Melvin, a triple. Official score probably gave him a break there. It probably should have been a double and an error, but he gets credited with the triple. The infield's now going to come in. They don't want to give up any cheap runs. Uribe is the batter, and Berenguer is on deck, but of course he's being called back for a pinch hitter. and they will most likely use Chili Davis to pinch hit. In fact, Chili Davis has come out on the on-deck circle, and he would be the pinch hitter. But first, it is Uribe with 1 out and a runner at third. Infield is in. 6-7 switch hitter. 6-7 ground ball second base X. That's Johnny Ray. Ray is a 3E6. 3E6. That's a 5, which is an unusual play. That could be interesting with the infield in. We'll see what happens on that. First of all, a 3 and a 9. 3 and a 9 turns out to be a G3. So that usually means the runner will score anyway, but we'll check the rare play. And on a G3, the rare play on a G3 says batter lines a shot that hits the mound and deflects to the fielder who makes the play to first for the out. All runners advance 1 base. Not a very thrilling rare play there. I was almost tempted to use Replay Baseball's rare play thing just for that purpose, but since I'm playing Strat, I guess I'll keep it to Strat. But RBI single, or RBI ground out rather, by Uribe, and the Pirates now take an 8-1 lead. And Chili Davis will come out and pinch hit for the pitcher. So we'll have Chili Davis pinch hitting. He will be on to pinch hit for the pitcher Berenguer. And then a new pitcher will be coming on in the bottom of the 8th. Probably, I'm thinking it's going to be Williams. 2-5 against the righty is a walk. So he walks Chili Davis. A pinch hit walk to Chili Davis. And they're trying to get the inning over with, and the last thing they want to do is start walking guys, but that seemed to be what happened. So Chili Davis draws the 2-out walk for Dan Gladden. Back to the top of the order. Nothing on the habit. 2-4. 2-4 fouls out to first, and the inning's finally over. So the run comes across, makes it 8-1. And we go to the bottom of the 8th here at Three Rivers. And many of the patrons have already filed through the turnstiles and are driving for home, which doesn't really give the Pirates a whole lot of jubilation, but that's the reality of the situation. So coming in for the Giants to pitch is right-hander Frank Williams. On the 86 season, he was 3-1 with a 1.20 ERA and 1 save. Boy, a 1.20 ERA. Wow, I hope that's not a misprint. 1.20 ERA according to this. So he's in, Mr. Williams. And he'll be facing Pena, Ray, and Diaz, scheduled hitters for the Pirates. .58, and that's a ground ball second base X. That again is Kutcher, who's only a 4. He's a 4E30. That's going to get through for a base hit. That's a 13. Could be an error on top of it. 13 and an E30. E30 and a 13. There's a 12 and a 15, but no 13. But it will be a single. Will not be an error, but it will be a single for Tony Pena. And like I said, the real game was 9-0. This game right now is 8-1, so we're not too far from it. Pena with the leadoff single brings up Johnny Ray. Nothing on the havoc. 5-7. That's a ground ball second base A. That's a 4-6-3 double play. Just like that, twin killing. That brings up Mike Diaz. And Diaz is going to be called back, I think. Yeah, they're going to call Diaz back. And Sid Bream is going to pick up a bat and hit and take over at first base. So Sid Bream will be on. That'll leave Ortiz as the only pinch hitter when the pitcher spot comes around, but that'll get all their players used and give everybody a chance. So Sid Bream is the new first baseman. And he's up with 2 outs and a runner at first against Frank Williams. 4-3. And that's a ballpark single chance. It's a 1-6. And 16, so he lines to second to end the inning. Ballpark didn't help him there. So we go to the 9th. Still 8-1, and now the Pirates What do they want to do here? I guess Don Robinson will stay out there. They do have lefty Clements in the bullpen, but you got all righties coming up, so I think they're just going to stick with Robinson in this case. And he'll be facing Kutcher. Youngblood and Brown. Top of the ninth. 6-5. Ground ball shortstop X. That is Belliard. Belliard is a 3 E25. 3 and a 2. That's going to get through for a base hit. E25 and a 12 at short. There's a 13, but there's no 12, so it's a base hit for Kutcher as he sneaks it past Belliard. And just what the Pirates didn't need was more base runners for the Giants, but that's what they've got. So Kutcher, a leadoff single, and that'll bring up Joel Youngblood. Nothing on the Havoc. 2-7, and Youngblood hits a double to left field. Kutcher station to station with the score being 8-1. He will hold at third base. But Joe Youngblood with a solid double. And now with nobody out, Chris Brown, the batter, infield is in. Not that it matters at this point, but that's what they're playing it. 1-9, and that's a ground ball second base C, so with the infield in, it doesn't matter, I don't believe. I'll check the chart, but I don't believe it matters. When it's a C, I'm pretty sure the guy scores either way, but we will check it. And we're using this infield super advanced chart. Infield in, runners at second and third. Ground ball C is a 1. This says batter out, runners hold. Okay, so with the infield in, they do have to hold. My bad. There you go. So they kept the run from scoring by bringing the infield in, and that'll bring up Mr. Maldonado. Infield still in. 3-2, and that's another hit by pitch plus injury. The third Giant batter that has been hit in this game, and don't be surprised if the Giants don't come out maybe and hit one of the Pirate batters for retribution, because Roger Craig's not going to take much of this. So Maldonado, we check him for injury, and he's got to come out on a 4, so he's got to come out. And that'll send Jeffrey Leonard one flap down. He will take over in left field. So Jeff Leonard, the new left fielder. He is the new left fielder. And he's also the pinch runner to load the bases. And what do you know? We got Will Clark coming up. And with Will Clark coming up, Don Robinson's coming out. And Robinson's coming out, and they're going to bring in the left-hander Pat Clements. So final pitcher for the Pirates. It's Pat Clements or bust at this point. The lefty Pat Clements against Will Clark. Bases loaded, 1 out. Infield now playing for double play depth. Nothing on the Havoc. They want to turn 2 here against Will Clark. 6-10, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That is Belliard. He's a 3 E25. 3 and a 14. Let's see what 3 and a 14 does. 3 and a 14 is a G2, so they're going to get the force at second, but the run's going to score. That is a 9, and he's an E25. No 9, but it is going to be a fielder's choice. The run will score. Leonard is out at second. Run does score, though. Makes it 9-1. Out number 2. And the new base runner is Will Clark. Reaching on the fielder's choice. Youngblood does go to third. 2 down now for Bob Melvin. 2, it's a chance for a pass ball or a balk. 2, chance for a balk, but he has no balk rating, so we skip that. Clements, 6'11", fly ball right field X. Right fielder is R.J. Reynolds. He is a 3 E15. 3 and 11, he'll get to it. E15 and a 10. 10s aren't usually errors, but when you got an outfielder E15, it could be. E15, nope, there is no 10s. Good play. So the inning is over. And we go to the bottom of the ninth. Score 9-1, so very close to the original score of 9-0. If not for the solo home run from Jim Morrison, we'd be right on track. So Clemens is done, and Frank Williams is done. They're going to finish him off, and they're going to bring in Mark Davis to finish out the game for the Giants. Lefty Mark Davis is coming on, and he'll be facing, ironically, Morrison, Reynolds, and Bonilla. If it gets to the pitcher spot, they do have Junior Ortiz on the bench. And this is kind of the point where Robert would say, will we see any ninth inning magic? We shall see. 5-9 against a right-hander. Ground ball shortstop X. That is Uribe. Uribe is a 2 E18. 2-17 is good. E18 and a 12. E18 and a 12 for a shortstop. He is good. 15, 16, 17, and 18 are bad, but 12 is good. So one down. That brings up R.J. Reynolds. It's a 1-7 against the lefty. Struck him out. So two down. Mark Davis says no magic here at all, folks. And what do you know? It might finish off the game with Mr. Bobby Bowe. Wouldn't that be appropriate? 4-6. Switch hitter Bonilla makes him right-handed. 4-6 against Davis. Struck him out. And the ball game is over. Mark Davis dominates the ninth. And there's your final score, 9-1 in favor of the Giants. Like I said, the real game was 9-0. So sometimes life does imitate art. Or art imitates life, I guess, in this case. But there you have it. I was afraid it might be a blowout, and that's what we had. And again, the Giants now increase their lead to 5.5 over the second-place Astros in that National League West. But there's still 2 months to go, so anything can happen, and there's lots of head-to-heads going on as well. So, like I said, I have the schedule all lined up for the rest of the season. But that's subject to change based on, division races on the Strat PC. In fact, I've got the line scores for the next several games already printed out. So you can see next week we'll be at Status Pro, Montreal and the Mets. The following week will be Inside Pitch, Los Angeles at Cincinnati. Then back to Payoff Pitch on the August 16th date for Detroit at Boston. And then August 23rd, California at Baltimore will be right back in Stratomatic. And then on the 30th will be Pittsburgh and Houston. So again, Houston will get a chance to beat up on Pittsburgh just like San Francisco did. But I may switch some of this because we may want to get more San Francisco games in here for the pennant race. So we shall see. And if the American League East tightens up, we might see more Toronto or Detroit games in here. So like I said, I'm going by what I thought were the best games, and some of them were actually NBC game of the weeks, but some of them weren't. I was just trying to pick the best games. But these are all subject to change based on the pennant race. So that's what we got to look forward to next. The immediate one next week, next Saturday, is the Expos, their first time on the channel in the 1986 replay, first and only scheduled appearance. And they will be playing the New York Mets, and that will be on Status Pro against the Mets. I don't know the pitching matchup off the top of my head, but that's the next scheduled game. Let me get back to the chat. I've been kind of away from the chat because I've been trying to get this game done. Yeah, Brandon, definitely domination for sure. Thank you for all you guys that hung in there with me despite the blowout. Hopefully you were able to chat amongst yourself a little bit. So, yeah, Frank Williams, I didn't realize he had such a good ERA, but boy, 1986 was his best year. Apparently so. And the Giants really in real life came close to catching the Astros, so it was a prelude to the 1987 championship. So the fact that Stratomatic has them leading right now at the end of July is not anything out of the ordinary. It's definitely not an anomaly like the Yankee thing is with Boston being so bad. But I'll double check the standings again real quick in the National League. Actually, they had a 4-game lead, so it's actually San Francisco's up 4.5 now. There was a 4-game lead before this game was played. It's now gone to 4.5 with the victory. And with the Pirates' loss, they now fall 15 games back of the Mets in the National League. And nobody else is even close in the National League West. The Dodgers are 11 back. So pretty much a 2-team race there. And in the American League, American League West, it's all over. The Angels have a 14.5 game lead over the White Sox. In the East, we got the Yankees with a 5-game lead on Toronto and a 6-game lead on Detroit and a 9-game lead on Cleveland. So those are the only 3 teams in single digits. Boston is checking in at 43 and 51, a robust 0.457 winning percentage, 17.5 games out. In real life at this point, they were 57 and 37, so they are 14 games under where they should have been in real life. Yankees are showing 62 and 35, and they are 7 games better than what they were in real life. And in real life at this point, the Red Sox had a 2-game lead on the, actually it was more than a 2-game lead, it's about a 3 or 4-game lead on the Yankees. But like I said, if you want to have a Strat-O-Matic New York conspiracy, you can be my guest and I won't argue the fact. Subway Series, you're certainly correct. Although, I'll tell you what, the Giants are a tough team, and certainly the Astros are as well. So that National League, NLCS is not going to be a cakewalk for the Mets. They're going to have to face either the Giants or the Astros. And then, of course, the Yankees have to deal with that tough California team, which probably should have went to the World Series. Other than a bad pitch by Donnie Moore, they would have. But, no surprise there at all. Actually, it could be pretty interesting to have a Mets California Angel World Series. That would be kind of interesting to see, to give the Angels that chance that I thought they should have had. And again, if the Astros catch up and have the Astros and the Angels, that would be like the reverse of the Red Sox and the Mets. So yeah, Pirates did get the 1 run on the Morrison homer, but otherwise it was the exact score of the real game, which doesn't happen very often, but it did here. Strat-O-Matic, super advanced. And RJL is not a fluke. Inside pitch is my number 1 game now, and actually payoff pitch is my number 2 game. Strat-O-Matic is checking in at number 3. And after that, History Maker is up there, but that's kind of its own animal, so I don't like to compare. That's almost comparing apples to oranges. So I'll keep them to the side. But the top 3 for sure are those 3 games, and those top 3 are head and shoulders above any other game that's out there. So you have to go way down to get number 4, which would probably be Replay Baseball maybe at this point, would be a number 4 game. I really like to replay PC more than I do the cards and dice, but that would be a number 4 game. And then if I had to keep going, I'd probably say Status Pro would be my number 5 game, and maybe Apple would be number 6. Then after that, you're really reaching, because then you got Pine Tar, which I hardly play, and Triple Play Baseball, which I hardly play. So kind of hard to say. No, I when I do Strat, I'm ranking them as a whole. Strat as a whole. I'm still saying inside pitch and payoff pitch are the top 2, because you get every card. So if you're doing a season replay, you got every player card. You don't have to scramble like I do on the computer and try to print off cards. You got them all. And B, it's not a 50. Neither one of those games are 50-50 engines. Both of them, the pitcher and batter, get equal opportunities to affect the at bat. So while I appreciate Strat-O-Matic's ratings, and I still think they have the best ratings, the card quality and just the pitcher interaction and everything else, it's just, I do love Strat. I grew up on Strat, so it's like the first love or whatever, but I still think if I had to do the old Desert Island thing, inside pitch would be the game I would take. If I couldn't have inside pitch, I'd take payoff pitch, and then if I couldn't take that, I'd have Strat-O-Matic. Yeah, if like for my demolition league, then having all the players don't matter. As long as you got some extra players to have backups, that's all you need. But if you're doing a strict season replay, you need to have all those players. And Stratomatic, especially with the older seasons, don't card as many as you need, and you ultimately get starting pitchers that aren't carded and things like that. And going back to a couple years ago, I think it was 2018 or 2000. I think it was 2018 maybe, where they had the whole Shohei Ohtani thing, where you in order to get Ohtani, in order to get Ohtani's pitching card, you had to buy the extra players, which I thought was. I know Dave Little made a thing about why they did that, but to me, I still think that's kind of a marketing ploy by Stratomatic, and nobody's going to convince me otherwise. That was a complete ploy by Stratomatic to increase the sales of the additional players. That's just my opinion. I may be wrong, but that's just my opinion and the way I view it. It just seemed like I won't say a dirty trick, but it just seemed like it was done intentional. Put it that way. Just my opinion. Whereas in payoff pitch and inside pitch, you don't have to worry about that. Now, the downfall in all three of those games is none of them have very many 1990s season offered. So I put, like RJL says, whoever the first is to bring out these 1990 seasons is going to be ahead of the game. And I got a feeling it's going to be Chris, because Joe at payoff pitch, I think he's having health issues and whatnot. So, so payoff pitch may be a little bit behind on doing newer seasons. So, Chris, it's prime time for Chris to get it going and crank up some of those 90 seasons, like 1990, 1993 particularly. And I wouldn't worry about filling in something from the 50s or 60s right now. I would be concentrating on 1990s, because that's, for the age group that plays this hobby, that's a decade that people remember very vividly growing up in their young adult lives, and really can remember those things and really want to recreate those. And there are just not a lot of opportunities for whatever reason. Game companies just decided not to do a whole lot of 1990 stuff. I don't get it, but it's just the way it was. But anyways, I don't want to sound like I'm doing an RJL rant, but that's just my thoughts on if I was in the game company shoes, I would definitely be the first one to try to get out there and get some 1990s seasons out there. Particularly those couple, like the 1990s, all those Reds fans would buy that up in a heartbeat. 93, you got the novelty of the Rockies and the Marlins first season, and things like that. So 97, you got the Cleveland, Florida thing going on. 96 is the start of the Yankees, where they beat the Braves in the World Series. So, that could go. They do have 1998, but that's, people kind of get the steroid thing going on with that, so that's a turn off to some. But yeah, 1990, 1991, 93, any of those would be, really, really good, I think, in my opinion. But like I said, that's just me. I can only talk for me. So, and replay is missing quite a few as well, because I want to buy when I buy a season on inside pitch or payoff pitch, I try to buy the corresponding season on replay and on the PC to use as a scorekeeper, but sometimes replay doesn't offer that. So, like in my 1972 payoff pitch, I want to do something with that eventually in a season replay type thing, because I haven't replayed payoff pitch all the way through yet to test the game engine like I have the other games. 1972, fortunately, replay does have that on PC. So I could buy that, or I've got it on Strat PC, so I could use that to score as well, and also have it in fast pitch, the 70s in fast pitch, so I could use fast pitch or fast play, or I think it's called fast score. My bad, fast score that RJL uses. I could do that to sim the rest of the games as well. But I do need something on the computer to score the one team I would be doing a replay for. So everybody has different things they like to do. Some people don't like to do season replays. It's too long for them, and trust me, I know all about it, because the ones I did took quite a bit. It takes a lot out of you. I already feel like I'm stretched out pretty bad right now with the Demolition League going on, and History Maker Baseball, Buffalo Bees, and the Saturday game of the week. So my plate is full. I can't add anything. Now, once the Saturday game of the week is done, and we get into October, then I'll probably start up doing something with that payoff pitch 1972 season replay. I just don't know what team I'm going to choose to replay. I don't know if I'm going to do a National League team or an American League team. And I don't know if I'm going to do a good team, bad team, or some team in the middle. I'll have to look at all the rosters and see if anybody sticks out to me. I was an A's fan, but do you really want to do an Oakland A's replay on that? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Possibly. I might just choose the A's because I liked them. So maybe that's something that would keep me interested if I pick a. Yes, Jim D. I did play the first couple games of the Cubs. About the first 10 or 15 games, I think, but then it just got to be too much to do both of them, so I had to drop that one to focus on the White Sox. I could always come back to the Cubs, but I really want to do another year other than 77, so I think that one's one of the ones that's going to fall through the cracks and not get done. I do like to try to finish all my projects, but that's going to be one of those that just doesn't quite make it. But I do take pride in trying to finish projects that I start. But I don't know. I mean, it's not out of the woodwork, but it all depends on how much time I have and how much energy I have and so forth to do all these things. Right now, I want to make sure that it's fun. It's not work, because once it becomes work, then it's no longer a hobby. So move this thing out of the way. For some reason, I'm getting a blur on the camera. I don't know why, but oh well. What are you going to do? I will be finishing up the Series 9 in the Demolition League sometime this week, probably, so that next Monday I will probably have the first game of Series 10 ready to go for that. On Friday, probably won't be any videos between now and Friday. On Friday, I'll have the Buffalo Bees and get all their stuff set up. There's a lot of pregame I like to do for the Bees. So, yeah, Brandon, I did that for the White Sox as well. I mean, I wanted to get in depth with it, but I kind of bit off more than I can chew trying to take on two teams like that, although the 77 Cubs did intrigue me because they were an interesting team. And I've got 77 Cubs on payoff pitch, so I could always come back and do payoff pitch, or I could always get this inside pitch 77 season, which I don't have. It's one of the few games, which is kind of weird because 77 is one of my favorite seasons, and I don't have it in what is now my favorite game, inside pitch. So I will probably have to, get that fixed eventually and get the 77 season on inside pitch. After already doing the White Sox, though, I'd probably want to stick to the National League. So I might get it on a PDF and just print out the National League teams. That's a possibility. So, all right, folks, I think that's going to about cover it. We're into about 1:30 on the East, I think. Depending on where you are. I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Virginia, so it's like 1:30-ish here, I think. I don't want to ramble too much because I'm not much of a chatter. So don't forget to check out RJL tonight. I believe probably I'm assuming around 8 o'clock Eastern is when he usually starts. Could be a little earlier than that. It is the Milwaukee Braves and the St. Louis Cardinals from Busch Stadium. Lou Burdett against Kurt Simmons. So be there or be square, as RJL says. 1961 Braves. Of course, you have Eddie Matthews and Hank Aaron from the Braves. And on the Cardinals, of course, you've got some of their better players as well. Thanks to everybody that came in and stuck through this blowout game. Wasn't very entertaining, but as the old saying goes, Mama said there'd be days like this. And Jim Leland probably smoking a cigarette and pulling his hair out and having a big chat with Larry McWilliams and saying, you might be going to the bullpen, buddy. So that's going to do it from here. Hope everybody has a wonderful Saturday. Jim D, I do not know where to get more umpires. You can ask Keith or on the free site. Somebody may have made some umpires. Depends on what year you want. I think there's in the how-to guide, it tells you how to rate umpires, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I usually just go with what they give me in the games and the seasons I buy. So that one, you might be better off to check with the play.com people, and they may be able, or on their Facebook page or something, they may be able to give you some guidance on that. That's something I'm not sure of. So, yeah, Brian, I'll be there checking in off and on for RJL's game tonight. If a pun hits me, I'll blurt it out. If not, I'll just kind of sit back and relax and maybe just watch the game and not interject too much, but just have a relaxing evening listening to RJL do his thing in Inside Pitch. So long from the Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, where the San Francisco Giants crushed the Pittsburgh Pirates by the score of 9-1. Until Friday, when I see you all for the Buffalo Bees, and until next Saturday, when we have the Mets and the Expos on Status Pro. Take care. Enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.